Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany Yeiser and I'm going to be focusing my Ignite talk on strategies 1 and 2. These strategies set clear goals and provide examples and non-examples of what is expected. Overall, they let the student know where they're going. Where is this lesson taking me? So students need to know where they're going to even begin moving forward with their learning. Many times teachers have essential questions hanging on their wall, but they're not talked about with students. Students don't know they're there. They're kind of just there for administration in case they would walk in. So learning targets. Setting clear learning targets should be addressing what the students need to be able to do and know by the end of the lesson or unit. The target should be written in student-friendly language or language that they're able to understand and then articulate back. So an example of setting a learning target using student-friendly language is here on the screen, and that's from my classroom. So my students, it was easier for them to be able to understand my expectations and what they were learning based on a learning target that used pictures. So selecting the type of target that you're going to use. When selecting a learning target, we must know if it's a knowledge level, reasoning level, skill level, or product level target that we're looking to assess and address with our students. So the knowledge level targets, recalling knowledge, information, or series of steps. Students are asked to identify steps of series or recall information. Many times it's seen as a lower level thinking, but it's really not because they still have to recall information and tell us a series of steps. Reasoning level, that's analyzing, using information to make decisions and applying knowledge. So this could be comparing and contrasting elements in a story versus elements in a video. That would be our reasoning level. Skill level is next, and that's using or demonstrating a skill taught. So, for example, this picture is of the mile. Students have to show their skills by running for gym class. The next one that we're going to talk about is product level, and that is the creation of products based on their knowledge. So students are asked to create something that represents their knowledge of a topic. This could be a diorama, a song, a newspaper article, a picture, a collage. So any of those could be used to assess product level. So co-creating learning criteria. A lot of teachers have moved towards this idea of co-creating rules for classroom. Use the same concept for learning targets. It will help them better understand their expectations, have more ownership over their learning. So we can do this by first discussing what features make it the information or product of quality. So making sure students are focusing on quality rather than quantity, and also asking them for examples and non-examples so they know what mastery looks like. Once you've discussed this with your students, it's important to find a common ground between your criteria and the student's criteria. So make sure you continue to keep those expectations high, but also compromise with their thoughts as well when planning this and co-creating the learning target. So sharing the learning target. Once you have discussed this, there's no set time when you need to share the learning target. It can be shared before or during a lesson. The most important part is that the students know where they're going and what's intended. So this being said, as the teacher, you need to look at the structure of your lesson and determine when it's appropriate to communicate the learning target. Many times I'll personally share my learning target at the beginning so my students know where we're going with the lesson. Checkpoint. So one of the biggest ideas that goes along with effective formative assessment is making sure that the students understand the learning target and the information they're being taught throughout various parts of the instruction. So checking in is crucial in the formative assessment steps. Learner orientation. So the first checkpoint is to make sure that students know what they're learning and they know why they're completing the assignment activity rather than just for a grade, which is the mindset we would like to move away from. There's more to learning than grades, so we need to first check to make sure students are able to say what their learning target is in their own words, and then as educators slow down our instruction process to make sure they're effective and of quality rather than how quickly we can get through a lesson. So strong versus weak. For students to know exactly what is expected, we should show examples of strong work and weak work, also non-examples and examples so they know exactly what they're expected to do and what learning is needed. So an example in my classroom is differential reinforcement. The better and faster you respond, the more and better things you get reinforcement-wise. Error correction also occurs in my classroom where we prompt errors to the correct response. So overall, how can we use these strategies? Provide clear learning targets, allow students to co-create, give them more ownership, give them good and bad examples, set them up for the road to success. Thanks for a great class, everybody.